Mr. Steffi and I are going to be over here. Actually, I probably should stay close. Okay, so welcome everybody. That was a great game of horse. Thank you for the 11 participants. And again, we have about 75 people in the audience, or 71 to be exact. And if you have any questions about the new school year, we would ask you to type your question in the chat. Again, type your question in the chat. So we're going to wait about 30 seconds for questions to come into the chat. Okay, we're going to start, and we're recording this for any student that might not be able to participate. And our questions are coming in, so we're going to begin. The first question is, how often will classrooms, door handles be cleaned during the school day? So that's an important question, of course, in the times we're living in right now. And the answer to that question is, in terms of the learning area that you're in, the student desk, we're actually going to be sharing what's called a social story video. We're going to be asking for a student volunteer to demonstrate how at the end of each class period, how you're going to actually be disinfecting the area in which you were just learning. Think of it like an art class. Art teachers have to stop their instruction with about 5 minutes left to go in the period to effectively give all of you time to clean your area. So the biggest place, the most amount of space, the most amount of time you're going to be spending in one place is the classrooms, of course. So students at the end of each class period is actually going to be disinfecting the area. So I wanted to offer that to students. Door handles are actually, most of our doors, except for our outside doors, are going to be in the open position. So there really won't be a need for disinfecting door handles for the most part. But that is where our building service workers, that's where their job is so important, of course, during the day and during the evening hours to disinfect those areas. Next question, are we going to school? Yes, it's going to be in a hybrid model. So I'm going to screen share in a couple minutes a website that is available to all students and all parents. And I really think you should watch the video that shows exactly how we're going back to school. Grady Flynn, you're asking what happens on Wednesdays. So the video actually shares the plan right now for Wednesdays, which is if your last name is A through K, you're gonna go into the building on one Wednesday, but the opposite Wednesday or the very next Wednesday, you're gonna be learning remote. Let's see here. 19 questions, Mr. Steffi. Where's the other ones? Down with your 2 fingers, you should be able to. Okay, got it. Okay, next question is, what is the dress code? So that's an interesting question. Our dress code, we do have so many changes coming up, of course, in the new school year. We don't have too many changes in the dress code, except for, of course, you have to wear a mask. Next question. Will we be Zooming all day, and what will homework look like? So one of the reasons why there are so many educators working so hard to bring you back into the buildings, even if it's just 2 or 3 days a week, is to get you off of Zoom and to get you in front of the teachers who have missed you so much. So A typical week, how much will you be Zooming? The days you are learning at home, you're going to be Zooming more. The days you're coming into the building, you're obviously going to be Zooming less. The second half of this question is, what does homework look like? Homework would probably look pretty traditional, pretty much like it's looked in either 7th, 6th, or 5th grade. I think the only difference is every classroom teacher at Concord Middle School really relies heavily on their Google Classroom. So all your homework, all your classwork, where you turn things in digitally, it's all going to be done in Google Classroom. Even the days that you're in the building, you probably won't be Zooming that much, but you might be on your Google Classroom to help organize yourself. Next question, are we having lunches inside or outside when we're at school in person? Right now, we have a plan for students to eat in small groups inside, especially thinking about those days where it might be rainy or once the cold weather comes. The outside we want to reserve for times where, for recess, and we're actually building in a recess and mask break either in the morning if you have a later lunch or in the afternoon if you have an early lunch. We're going to actually share that schedule in the next couple weeks. How are buses going to work? That's a great question. So our superintendent of schools shared an email to all families asking if it's possible, whether or not an adult in your family can drive you to school. Here's the good news. If no adult in your home completed the survey, then we're assuming that you're going to be at the bus stop the very first day that you're in person. The very first day that students are coming back in person, the A through K group is September 10th. September 10, it's a Thursday. The L through Z group, your first day in person is Friday, September 11th. Tuesday and Wednesday of that week, which is September 8th and 9th, you're going to be on the computer in Zoom with your classes. The next question is, should we have big backpacks for school since you don't have lockers? Yes, absolutely. You definitely want big backpacks. Mr. Steffi, you ready? I'm going to toss you some questions.
I'm ready.
All right. How will we get computers? This is probably a sixth grader asking this question. You know the answer to that?
I'm sorry, I didn't know it was the first one. I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that, Mr. Cameron.
So we're still discussing that. The way it might look is we might ask all our sixth grade families, because I just said the first 2 days of school, September 8th and September 9th, you're going to be learning and meeting your peers in your class through Zoom. We might ask sixth grade families, if you have a computer at home you can do that on September 8th and 9th, then you're good. If you need a laptop, the student-issued laptop, we might allow some sixth grade families to come in a little earlier to get their laptop. The rest of the laptops will probably be passed out to students when they arrive in person on September 10th and September 11th. Is there a student board? I'm not sure if I know the answer to that question. Student board?
I know that if you're wondering about a board where students can, pose questions or thoughts or reflections, two things come to mind. One is the importance of student voice at both of our buildings. So if you're asking about a place where we can collectively ask questions, I think that would be a great idea, maybe for the website or another place that comes to mind around student voice is that each student, especially for our sixth graders that don't know this, will be in a home room. And that's an opportunity to connect each day with the teacher in a very small group. That is a great time to ask questions because they're going to come up each and every day, even after the start of the school year. Oh, and now if it's an activities board, I believe there will be a spot for that as it becomes more and more clear which clubs and sports we will have as well.
Okay, next question. I love this question. I'm very proud of the student who wrote this question. How many books from the Big Six do we need to read in order to earn the homework passes? How many personal books? And do graphic novels count for personal books? I'm gonna go backwards. The graphic novel question and how many personal books, I would ask you to email Miss Stockwood, our librarian. If you don't know her email, you can email me, Mr. Cameron, and I'll forward your email to Mrs. Stockwood. I do believe if you're looking to get the homework passes, the way to unlock those homework passes is to read all of the Big Six. I would remind our students though, as we're coming into these last few weeks of summer, we very much encourage, we're gonna share a great amount of pride if you do, but it's not required reading. Next question is from Alex H. Will we take mask breaks? The answer to that is yes. You're gonna have a mask break in the morning, and it's gonna be taken outside, and it's gonna be at least 10 minutes long, and then you'll have a mask break right after lunch. Well, lunch is your mask break as well, but an extended mask break and allowing to go outside as well. I guess though, one clarification, if you have an early lunch, then your mask break and your snack is actually gonna be after lunch. Can we do online school and not come into the hybrid? So that's a conversation you should have with the adults at home. And if that is a conversation you're having as a family, there was a survey that Dr. Hunter, our superintendent of schools, asked for families to complete a couple days ago. So if you're still having a conversation about going what's called 100% remote, you need to kind of look to finish that conversation to let the school and the district know. What supplies will be used to clean the school? Mr. Steffi, you want to take that one?
Yep, there's a very specific set of guidelines that we will be using to clean the school. There are really two separate buckets of cleaning, pun quite intended, that we're going to be doing. The first is the custodial crew, which is a very deep clean of the building. If this student is asking about the day-to-day cleaning that Mr. Cameron discussed earlier, that's going to be very similar to, if not exactly, those Clorox wipes that you would take, that you would wipe down your desk and you would wipe down your seat. Those are going to be the cleaning agents that we use both in the classroom and also in the cafeteria.
Next question, are there going to be outdoor classrooms and learning spaces? The answer to that is yes. You know, just like any traditional year, teachers are able to take their classes outside to learn anytime they want. The spaces that are provided for teachers, the instructional spaces, at Sanborn, I believe we're gonna have 2 outdoor tents, and we're gonna have, we're very hopeful to have our outdoor classroom approved by the town so that students can be in that area. There's some railing instruction for hand railings that we need to install in the next couple weeks. At Peabody, there's gonna be at least 1 tent, and there are gonna be other spaces that if teachers just wanna go outside and sit down on a grass in a big circle with everybody 6 feet away from each other, that's gonna be encouraged as well. What's lunch gonna look like considering you have your masks? So when you're eating, and this is true in Massachusetts, Massachusetts is in such a good place when it comes to the health data that our restaurants are open for people to go in and actually eat in the dining area. If you walk into a restaurant, you'll see that the people eating have their mask off, and that is the same for lunches at Concord Middle School as well. Lunches will be a mask break. Because of that, we've actually placed student desks in the cafeteria to maintain that distancing because masks are gonna be off. Mr. Steffi, does it matter what team you're in? I'm not sure if I understand the question, do you?
If that question is referring to lunch, let's say, each team in the 6th grade has a lunch. So if you're in one of the teams, say you're in Team Forest, that means that you would have the second lunch each day. And it's similar in seventh grade with one small change. If you are on one of the seventh grade teams, you have a standalone lunch with your team where you will be both in the cafeteria and outside. And then the other two lunches are both eighth grade teams and the other two seventh grade teams, if that student is asking about lunches.
Awesome. The time is 10:50. I think we should be done by 11. We have about 8 more questions left. Next question. I love this question because this is a question that I always receive on August 14th or in the middle of August. When are we going to get our home-based teachers? Awesome question. So the answer to that is it should be in Aspen, I would say by the end of August. And remember, what's unique about this school year is you're not starting school until, and a part of your home base until September 8th, when you're on Zoom with your home base. September 9th, you're going to be again on Zoom with your home base. And if you're in a home base, A through K, you're going to be in person in your home base on September 10th. If you're L through Z, you're going to be, for the 3rd straight day, on Zoom on your home base. And then that group gets to be in person in the home base on Friday, September 11th. The next question, will we get laptops this year? Can I bring my own laptop from school to home? So again, this is another common question for every summer. I'm guessing a 6th grader shared this question. So it is pretty important that everybody has the same laptop so that the different things installed on the laptop are all consistent for all students. So we will be distributing laptops to all our 6th graders. We don't have a finished plan just yet. We're either going to allow families to 6th grade families to swing by if they need a laptop for the online learning of September 8th and 9th, and we might be actually distributing the rest of them when you come in person. Will we need to go to school or can we just use Zoom? So I think this person is asking, is there a choice to go completely 100% on Zoom or online? And I answered that a little earlier. If that is a conversation your family is having, you need to inform the school and the district of that conversation. What will the groups for lunch look like and when will we find them out? So maybe this student is referring to some schools are creating very small groups for lunches. We are not. Mr. Steffi, can you share how 6th grade lunches will look like and then how 7th and 8th grade lunches will look like?
Yep, so in each building for each lunch, the group, let's take 6th grade first, the group that has the first lunch, and that is the 6th grade line team, half of the 6th grade line team will come directly to the cafeteria, actually where Mr. Cameron and I are sitting right now. The other half of that 6th grade line team will go outside and we'll have outdoor time. At the halfway point of that 6th grade line team lunch, those two groups will split. So that dynamic and that flow of students halfway is the way it's going to work at each lunch, both at the Peabody building for 6th graders and at the Sanborn building for 7th and 8th graders. If this student is asking about what will those groups specifically be, I don't know the answer to that yet. It may be that we use the built-in structure of home bases or otherwise. I'm not exactly sure yet how we're going to break up those groups. I did want to say while we're on the subject, for the students that are in one team, and this comes up a lot in 6th grade, for the students that are in one team, you will see your friends that are in the other team throughout the day. You'll see them passing in the hallway. You'll see them all over school and in various classrooms as well. So oftentimes we get the question, will I ever see my friend if they're in the other team? The answer is yes, yes, yes.
Okay, we've got about 7 minutes left. We're trying to put a highlight package together at 11 o'clock for the students who did the horse competition. Just kidding, we don't have that available to us. But great opportunity to just thank all those students who played horse with me at 10 a.m. A lot of fun. Thank you for taking that risk. You guys are awesome. The student who won, know that I'm going to email you and your parents probably in the next hour to see if I can drive that Under Armour Concord Middle School t-shirt to you today. All right, let's go on with our remaining questions. Is everyone coming in the same day? So again, we're gonna finish this with me sharing a website that has a video that was shared with all students in the student Zoom last week. So if the student who wrote this question was on vacation last week, maybe was at a camp last week, there's a video that I'm gonna share with you that you can watch that I think will answer that question. Another question, if we opt for full remote, can we request to meet with teachers in person before or during the school so we have a chance to see teachers in person before going 100% remote? I like that suggestion. I don't have an answer to that. Oftentimes, and I learned this being a 7th grade English teacher, sometimes the best questions are really good ideas. So I want to commend the student. However, just because you have the principal saying it's a good idea, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, but I can look into it for sure. Next question, I think this is a parent question. With more parents driving students, how will student drop off and pick up work at the Sanborn campus? So we're actually having those conversations. We're inviting our school resource officer to make sure it's safe. We're inviting the bus, the head of transportation. Those conversations are happening next week, I should say. I was about to say tomorrow, and Mr. Stuffy got really nervous behind me. Are there any additional mental health supports for students this fall? Awesome question. I want to put a percentage to this. We're increasing our advisory home base time. I would say at least 50% of the time. Returning 7th and 8th grade students know that home base last year and the year before that was about 8 minutes long. Every morning, including, every morning of full day instruction, home bases are 15 minutes. And we're looking for home base to be the time that we're in support of students and their well-being. Is it okay to carry stuff if it doesn't fit in my backpack? Yes, of course. Do you think intramural sports will be happening? It's a great question. I heard this morning driving into school that MIAA, which decides whether or not middle schools and high schools who compete in sports with other schools, they still have not made that decision. If freshman football up at CC, if varsity football is happening, then the good news for us is we're gonna have flag football. If those sports don't happen up there, then I'm not sure if we can have flag football down here, but the quickest answer is we just don't know yet. When we're in school, will we have our classes with the same people? Okay. Are you with the same group of kids every period of every day? The answer to that question is no. Most middle schools and high schools looked into that, but it's very, very, very difficult to do. We have 4 world language choices. 3 or 4? 3. We have 3 world language choices, and in 7th and 8th grade, we have math leveling. And in order to put you in the same group that travels together throughout the day, we have to completely undo one of those. And that was a very difficult, challenging conversation to have, and we decided not to do it. What's happening on September 11th? So let me walk you through these dates again. Tuesday, September 8th, you're going to be learning 6 hours on Zoom. You're going to be meeting on Zoom with your teacher and the full class. That's Tuesday, September 8th. Wednesday, September 9th is a half day of school. The ending of the school is around 11:30. And because it's only a 3-hour day, you're gonna actually go back to the Zoom world, go back to being together all through Zoom. On September 10th, which is a Thursday, the A through K group is coming in, and the L through Z group is online for a third straight day. And then Friday, September 11th, we switch. The L through Z group on Friday, September 11th is coming in person, and the A through K group is learning at home. We're almost done, about a couple more minutes. When we're in, oh, already asked that. Will we have to wear any particular face masks? So the Board of Health is actually coming up and working with the district right now about the different things that a face mask should have. A study just went out across the country about what's called the gaiter, which I believe the gaiter is almost 360, wraps around your head below your nose. And that study said that those gaiters aren't really that effective. They're not really all that great. So that's the only answer I have right now. I don't think the gaiters are going to be allowed, but more to come on that. What is a homework pass? Asked a student. It is a pass that our library Big Six reading program might be sharing out for those who are successful in their summer reading. And if your social studies teacher assigns you to do 5 questions at home, you can submit to your social studies teacher a homework pass. Are we having home base? And if so, when do we get them? Yep, so that was answered earlier. We're not only having home base, but we're gonna have it 15 minutes, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And you're gonna get your home base assignment at the end of this month. All right, I think a lot of these questions have been answered. Oh, here's a new one. Can we bring lunch from home? Yes, absolutely. In fact, I kind of think a lot of students are doing just that. As much as we want our food service program to thrive and to grow, we've heard from many families that they're going to make the decision to bring their own, students are going to be bringing their own lunch. Will there be the same activities in school as before COVID? So I'm guessing you're asking about the after school program. Mr. Steffi, you want to talk a little bit about the after school program?
Yeah, it's our hope to provide an experience for kids after school that that has as many as the opportunities last year for this coming up school year, whether it's Minecraft Club or Lego Robotics. And that's going to be another great piece of information that you'll find as we get closer to the start of the school year on the website that Mr. Cameron, I believe, is going to share momentarily.
Yep. So one more minute. We're gonna fly through 5 more questions as quickly as we can. Let's see here. Can we carry some? Oh, I think we answered that question. If you're 100% online or remote for the first trimester, is there a possibility to meet your teachers? So actually, again, we answered that question. We like the idea. We just want to see if we can actually effectively do that idea. I feel like most of these questions have been answered. So I'm going to do a screen share really quickly and share with you all that an email was sent out with a brand new website. And if you can't find that brand new website, then what you can do actually is Google Concord Middle School. Stay with me, we're almost done. I would say 2 more minutes. You can actually start your weekend. So if I Google Concord Middle School, it's gonna bring you to our traditional website, but I wanna point something out. Oh, the suspense. So it looks like it's loading. Maybe because it's awfully silly. I'm trying to go to the home page of our traditional website.
Mine's very slow as well.
Yeah. At the top of the homepage, this is not the homepage. There's a link that says, oh, here it comes. CMS reopening 2021 Google site. If you don't know where the link is, Google Concord Middle School, get to our traditional homepage, and then click on this link. And then this is such an important resource for our parents, for our families, and for our students. So all the students that asked, what does it look like? What does this mean, hybrid? Look up here at the banner, and there's a video that was shared last week about how school looks like in a hybrid world. All right, thank you all for participating. Again, thank you for those who participated in our horse competition. Have a wonderful weekend.